Hello and welcome to Tips and Tricks from Ship Modeler. Ship Modeler is specialized in fine handcrafted ship models and custom builds. You can find us on Facebook at Handcrafted Wooden Historic Ship Models.
Hello and welcome to another episode from Tips and Tricks from Ship Modeler. My name is Jan. When I posted my last video, the update from my San Juan Nepomuceno build, I also called up my viewers to put some comments what they want to see on my tips and tricks videos, because I'm running out of ideas. And there was a comment, a viewer who wants to see the rigging of a model ship. Okay, rigging a model ship, if I want to make a complete video from this, it will maybe take the whole day to watch this, because there are so many nuts and what you ever put there and there and there and there, whatever. That's too much. So I will reduce this video on the basics on rigging your model ship. Basics means, for me, the first video we will see is how to make the nuts for the ratlines on the shrouds. The second one is how we whip the rod around something. Let me say how to put a block on a sport or on the mast or whatever, or hook or whatever you want, whipping the rope about something. Also very easy. The third one is lanyards or dead eyes, how to make this. And the last one is the belay pins and the extra rope on the belay pins. I will reduce this on these 4 short advices. If you have more questions, just put it in the comment box below, so that I will make maybe another update or whatever. Or if you have another idea for my tips and tricks videos, please let the comments coming, because it always helps and that's what you want to see. So okay, starting with my first video. Okay, tying the ratlines to the shrouds. Let us imagine that these are the shrouds coming down from the mast going to the dead eyes, and these are the ratlines. The ratlines are smaller in diameter than the shrouds coming down. Something for you who are interested to make it very realistic. The first shroud, so on the bow section, so facing the sail, always completely whipped from down to up, and the purpose of this, the sail will wrap on the shroud and it will cut through the first shroud after a while. That's the purpose. They whip it completely from up to down. Before we start, we have to cut a piece of this ratline, because if it's too long, it will tangle up. We don't like it, so we have to be careful. Easy estimation, easy formula to cut this. The complete width of the shrouds, double it and then cut one piece. So let us imagine that these are 10 shrouds, the complete width. We put the ratline, make it double as long as this, and cut it. I will not do this because I need this piece of rope for later demonstration, so it's only for you. So let's get started. The first shroud facing the stern section, so backside, we make a simple knot. We tied this on the first shroud. After we have adjusted the height of the ratline from this first knot, we put a little drop of CA glue or super glue on this, that it will not move anymore. So to keep going, to make it easy to explain, I will make one line, and I will call this the lower part and the upper part, from facing the line of the facing the ratline, lower upper part. Okay, taking the end, this ratline, lower part going from front, behind, coming out of the back. Very simple, no nut, only whipping it once around the second shroud. Simple whip, and then taking the end again, going to the upper part from front, behind the back, coming out and going through this loop and pulling it through. And that's the whole secret of tying the ratline to the shrouds. So before we tighten this nut, we have to adjust the length of the ratline between the two shrouds, and it always looks much better if the ratline sags a little bit than it is too tight. I know that depends on the scale from the model. It's not always easy to let sag the ratline between the shrouds. So, okay, it depends on the scale of the model. Okay, make it a little bit loose if you can, and then pull it. And that's already the first ratline between two shrouds. Again, the line of the ratline, lower part, front to the back, making one whip, pulling it through, taking the end, upper part, front to the back, going through and under this loop and tighten it up. Very simple. Adjust the length between the two shrouds, not too tight, not too loose if you can, and then pulling it. Again, that's it. Once again, line of the rod line, front to the back, coming through, going up, front to the back, coming through and under this loop, and tighten it up. That's the whole secret of making rod lines between the shrouds. And believe it or not, that's the simplest job, or the simplest knot on the whole rigging part of your model ship. If we have finished this, do not immediately put super glue on the nuts you have tightened, except the first one, so that it will not open anymore. If we finish one line, we have to adjust the height of the rod line so that it will level. And after this, we can put a little drop of CA glue or super glue on each nut. Finish everything up, trimming the ends with a scissor or very sharp knife, cutting the excess rope, and that's it. And to make it nice, because super glue will leave a white stain on each nut, put some diluted paint, mostly black, on each nut, so that will get out the white stain from the super glue. And that's the whole secret to make the rod lines on the shrouds. Next thing going on. Okay, that was the clip about the rod lines and the shrouds. I hope you enjoy this style of video much better than I make a video from my actual build and put the rigging, make the rigging on my actual build, because everybody of us know that the yarn we are using on our models is very small, and so sometimes it's maybe not so easy to see where the yarn is going and where to put it, pull it through and whatever. So I hope that it will explain the case better than to make a video from actual rigging a model ship. Whatever, if you like it, don't like it, or like it, just put it in the comment box. The next thing is how to put a block on a spore. Okay, next thing is how to tie a block, let us imagine a block or hook or whatever to a spore, a mast or whatever you want to tie up to something. We need two kinds of rope, a thicker one and a smaller one to whip the bigger one. Let us say this is a single block. I know it does not look very realistic, but it's only for demonstration purposes. Okay, we need the bigger part, the bigger rope, and a little bit longer, and we put this like this, like a big S. See this? Very good. And so that you can imagine this is the loop for the hook or for the block, and this is for the spore or for the mast or wherever you want to put it. If you want to put the one side, so this side, in the mast or on the mast, on the main mast, not on the spore, so that you can slip it over this end of the spore, you have to loop it around the mast, because if you're finished you cannot insert it anymore. Okay, then the second end is the smaller rope for the whipping. Put it like this, and where the center of this is, make a loop like this. Very simple. A loop like this, and then whip the smaller one around this. Very, very simple. Just whip it how many times you like, mostly around 10. It depends on how thick the whipping rope is. So make a lot of whippings. This is 6, 7, 8, 9. I do it only 10 times whatsoever. So okay, we have whipped this. We have two loops like a ribbon, and then we have the whipping rope up and down. So the end where we finished whipping the big one, we pull through this excess loop of this, and then we pull these two ends, and then we adjust this a little bit, and that's already the secret of looping or whipping something like this. So now we can trim the two ends of this whipping rope, but I will not do this because, you know, I need it for further purposes. And let us imagine that these are the block we want to insert it here and pull on the other end. This is not so easy to demonstrate here because it will not slide here, so you have to adjust this, but I think you get the picture of this, what I mean. It was a stupid idea to make my props from styrofoam, whatever. You get the picture that I insert the block into this loop. Now we still have left the other side of the loop, and let us imagine that these are the end of a spore there, and pull on the there you can see, pull on the other end of the rope and tighten this up, and that's already it. Then trim the excess rope, and that's the whole secret to tie a block or hook or whatever on something else. Very simple, nothing magic, very easy. Okay, that was the clip how to tie a block on the end of a spore or whatever, with including the whipping. Very simple job, nothing really magic. The next thing what we are seeing is a little bit more complicated, and because of that I have simplified the way of how to do this. It's about the lanyards, or the what you call this, dead eyes. Okay, so how to make the lanyards, or whatever you call it, dead eye, how do you rig them? The way I will show you now is maybe not the super correct way, but it will simplify a little bit the way how to rig the dead eyes or lanyards, whatever. Okay, this is a shroud coming down from the mast with already the dead eye, and this is coming from the channel up. Basically, this is not a rope, it's a metal wire mostly, and it's going to a chain plate, and before channel and then chain plate, and tighten up to the hull of the ship whatsoever. Okay, to make it simple so that you get not crazy from this, basically the two spots I put masking tape on has to be whipped. Short and simple whipping, as you saw already in the pictures before, is this: making a loop, wrapping the smaller rope around this, going the end through this loop and pull on both ends. That's what the masking tape will show us. So we have to imagine this. That's all imagination. So that you have to laugh. Okay, just for demonstration purposes. It always looks better if we, before I continue speaking, it's always good to have minimum 2 of these whippings, much better 3. Okay, minimum 2, much better 3. Okay, it always looks better than you have 2 colors of the so the lanyard is a different color than the shrouds. Mostly the shrouds are dark and the lanyards are light. Okay, starting the lanyard. We have to make a big knot on one end of the lanyard so that it will not slip through the hole of the dead eye. I did this already, and now get started. So starting that eye, right side, coming from the back, putting through the whole way from back to front up to the end. And in the model, we now will secure this with a drop of super glue or CA glue whatsoever. We do not have to do this. Okay, taking the lower dead eye, front, same side, but from the front going to the back, pulling it through. You see, very simple. First already done. Taking already next the end, coming from the back side, going the center, pulling it from back to through the front. Tighten it a little bit up. Same down, center hole, front to the back, opposite way. Next, there's only one hole left on the upper, back to front, pulling it through, and that's already it. And lower, front to back. Now this is already finished. The 2 dead eyes are finished. On the model, you know, you have to adjust the height of the 2 dead eyes. The lower is always fixed because it's tighten up on a metal wire. The upper you have to adjust. Okay, tighten it up. Now we take the end again, and we have a little hole between the first whip and the dead eye. Coming from the back, putting it through the hole and pulling it, not the whole way, so that we have a loop here, and there we go back through this loop so that we can tighten this up. Tighten this up, no problem at all. Okay, now it looks like this, so that the end is secured. Now we can start to whip the lanyard around the first around the shroud. It always looks good if we whip it on the whole part we whip on the shroud, so that it will cover it up. That looks always good. I will not do this because I will run short on this rope. To secure the end, going through the loop, pulling it up, and that's already it. Next thing is between the second or the third whip or sizing, they call it also sizing, it's always a little gap, and there we come through from the back, pulling it out through the front, and again to secure this, going through this loop, and that's already it. Then we have an excess, and tighten this up with another black or the same color as the shrouds. Tighten this, make 2 or 3 whippings only to tighten up the excess lanyard on the shroud, and that's already it. It looks like maybe complicated, but if you have done this many times and practice it, it will go very, very easy. I know, as I told before, it's not the correct way to do it, but it will simplify the way how to do it, and the result is let me say 90% close to reality. Okay, going to the next. Okay, this was the clip about the lanyards or the dead eyes, and I know it's a little bit complicated, and maybe you have to look at again and again the clip so that you can follow the steps. But after a while you get it. It's not that complicated as you think. So the last clip in this whole video will be the belay pins, and the clip, I know that the hands are in the way, and maybe the rope I chose for the video clip was not the best, but I believe that you get the picture how to make the belay pins, and also the extra coil of rope to put on the belay pin. Okay, watch the video. Okay, last thing what we are doing is the belay pins, and it's a little bit complicated because in original the belay pins are they are not for the belay pins, and also how to coil up the excess rope. To make it on the model is a little bit complicated, so it's better to make the belay pins different from the coils with the extra rope. So just let us imagine that this is a belay pin, and this is the rope is coming down from somewhere, wherever, So belay pin, always cross over this, going up, make a cross, going down, cross. That's simple as that to put on the rope on a belay pin. Okay, now this end will coiled up and put on the belay pin. To make it on the model is very complicated because it's very complicated to make a firm coil in a small scale. So what we are doing on making models, we cut the rope here and put some super glue here so that the belay pin is finished. Always crossing around, that's very simple. That's how to do the rope on the belay pin. So cutting off this, I will get this now because we use this to make the demonstration for the coil. You need a jig like this in the scale of your models. The 2 pins or nails or whatever you put here has to be the distance of the diameter of the coil you want to make. So let us imagine that this is the rope coming from the belay pin, so the extra rope. So what we are doing is to whip or to coil the rope on this 2 pins or nails or whatever you want to call it, and make a coil as big as you want. This is it. So now we can cut the rope here on the length of the coil, and the end coming from the belay pin we pull through the center of this, and oops, my hand is on the way. So now we have a loop inside this, and we can give this a little twist and have an excess loop there on the top, and then we secure this where I put my hand. We secure this with a little drop of CA glue or whatever you want, Elmer's glue or white glue, PVA glue, and get this out of the jig. And that is, and this end we put on the belay pin. And I know it's very complicated to see and maybe to imagine how to do this. What you need is a loop on the top of this coil, because this loop will put on the belay pin like this, and that's already it. Okay, those are the clips for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you got the information you need to make your model ship a little bit more realistic when it comes to rigging your model. If you have comments or questions, please put it in the comment box, and also if you have suggestions for my future tips and tricks videos, also please put it in the comment box. Slowly but surely it works so that my viewers are also putting comments on my videos, and that makes my job a little bit easier, and also to makes it easier for me to make videos, because now I know that there are people watching and they're interested in the videos I make. Okay, thanks for this. So have a great day and enjoy your hobby.
Thank you very much for watching this video. Please make sure to subscribe to this channel. That way you get immediate update for our new videos that we are going to post every week.